Hi, Kate. Sadeka Dwiti from Bangladesh. Let me
Hi.
first, you're incredibly loved here in Bangladesh. So
Oh, thank you very much.
you said that when your son was writing the script, you thought it would make a great movie. Was there any particular scene or dialogue that really spoke to you when you first read it?
I think the thing that spoke to me the most of all actually was just how real all of the characters felt, and I felt they were extremely relatable. I think some of the quieter scenes between Bernie and June I found to be particularly touching because I lost my own mother, but of course I was never I was never in the room when my own parents were having those quiet conversations between themselves. And so I found those scenes probably to be among the most touching of all. Yeah, but I also really loved the humor. You know, there is a lot of lightness in the film. There is there are many humorous moments, and actually I think that's very important because it's not ultimately a film about death. It's really a film about a family, and it's also a film about life and love and how a family come together because they're losing their mother. And I found it to be very, very poignant and very moving, and also incredibly uplifting as well.
Your son was on the set during the shooting, right? So having a writer on set, it can be, it can give you helpful notes, or sometimes it can be a source of creative conflict. So how was it having him on set?
Honestly, it was wonderful. I loved it so much. For the first 3 weeks, we only had 7 weeks to shoot this movie. And I only had Helen Mirren for 16 days. So it was quite nerve wracking because I had to get everything done. For the first 3 weeks of the shoot, my son was actually overseas working on something as an actor because he's also an actor. Um, and I had him then for the last 4 weeks, and it was wonderful. I couldn't wait for him to be there. I wanted to show him everything. I wanted him to experience the great surprise of seeing all these characters that he had created really come to life. And he has fantastic opinions and really great taste. He loves film. He always has done. And he's very interested in the filmmaking process and wants to learn and wants to be able to grow as a writer and grow as an actor. So for him being around all of that, I think it was very, very educational, quite honestly. And we're very lucky because we do have a really close relationship. But it was special to work with him in a different way as colleagues, on an equal playing field. He was a first time writer, I was a first time director. And so it did mean that we really like we had each other in those moments when we were like, oh my God, okay, what's next? Let's go. It's going to be great. Sometimes you just have to have a really positive attitude and just keep going. And it was wonderful for him to see all of that and to see me forward thinking and planning and being as multitasking as I really had to be, directing all of these adult actors and all of the 7 children. It was really challenging, but I found it incredibly rewarding and really uplifting as well.
Because your son found the inspiration for writing this from watching the family come together when his grandmother passed away. So were there parts of the film that was autobiographical?
No, it isn't an autobiographical story. It is a fictional family and it is a fictional set of circumstances. And yes, it is accurate that my own family were able to come together, but how geographically almost impossible that was remarkable. And my son was a teenager at the time, and everyone felt it. Everyone was part of going through this loss, and how we were all there for her because we loved her and because we all came from this one woman. So he took that as his emotional backdrop and then invented his own story from there. Because also he himself, when talking with his peers about loss and whether they themselves had lost a grandparent or even lost a parent in some cases, and he realized very quickly that for so many people, they weren't there. Maybe it wasn't a good goodbye. And for some people, they had regret and they wished that there were things that they had said. And so he took inspiration also from other people's real stories in terms of what they hadn't been able to experience, and put all of that and the sometimes conflict that he would hear of from his friends and other people. We have a big family on his mother's side, me, but also on his father's side there is a huge family too. And so he drew from many different stories that he was aware of, and created this particular story in which a family all come together against all odds and make it good for that woman who's passing away.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure
Thank you.
talking to you.
You too. Thank you very much.